Hello YouTube, VK56 240, still got her. Figured I'd share a little insight with some of the struggles I've had with this car. So, little history lesson. I did VK56 swap, one-off swap. It's not a drop-in deal. From the oil pan, engine mounts, blah blah blah, all did in-house. And first test last year, she spun a bearing and thought it was a dud engine. Bad luck with the draw. Anyway, second engine, we went out drifting. Good time. It was good until it wasn't. So, after reviewing the footage, come to find out that I'm getting about 15 psi of oil pressure on throttle when I'm transitioning one way versus the other. To tell you which way it is, I couldn't tell you, but one way is 15 psi, and then when I swap back the other way, oil pressure comes back. So testing was great, besides when it wasn't, it started getting a little angry. And so I shut her down and came home, and I believe my oil pan is the culprit of all my issues. So going back to my swap, I did the oil pan. It's my fault. Can't blame the VK56. Some people say they had issues. I don't think that they do. I mean, here I am, second engine. So yeah, sure there's issues, but it's on my behalf. Yeah, so I'm gonna drop the subframe. I'm going to drop the subframe instead of pulling the engine out altogether with the headers and everything in here. So I'm going to drop the subframe and get that oil pan off. The oil looks a little glittery, so that's not good. But I do have some bearings. It wasn't knocking, but I don't think she's happy. So I'm going to drop the oil pan, see what I can find, and we're definitely going to be adding some baffling to that pan. But yeah, check out that lift. A little recessed roof action. It's the best thing I ever did. Drop the subframe right now. And boom. Just like that. I wish it was that fast, but it wasn't so bad. Got the subframe out. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. So yeah, I just dropped the whole subframe with the arms and knuckles and everything still on it. Hopefully stays somewhat aligned. And then I got my fancy engine hoist, strap, whatever you want to call it, jig. Just literally 2x4 with a ratchet strap off each header. Anyway, let me grab this pan here, I'll throw in some gloves, and let's have a look. It's not looking so hot. Alrighty, so here's the pan. You can see some glittery action going on. So this is not good. Not good at all. And I'm convinced this is what happened to my first engine as well. Cut open the filter, it's the same shit. So there's definitely some bearing material going on. So what's happening is I got reference off another fella that's done the swap, and he drag races the car. and the oil is basically getting shoved backwards, obviously with the G-force. It's never been an issue in the straight line. We did dyno pulls up and down the road, whatever, on the street, it's been fine. But what's happening is side to side. So this is what I'm thinking, is this baffle here is catching some of the oil, but then when I go the other way, all the oil is flowing this way and going around the baffle and not allowing the pickup to suck the oil up. So there's definitely some baffling that needs to be added, and this thing needs to be cleaned thoroughly because I got a weld on it, and dirty aluminum's never a good time. But I'm just gonna load this sucker up in my car and go to the car wash with some degreaser and see what I can do to get this sucker somewhat clean, as clean as I can get it at least, and then come up with a baffle design. So I will follow up after this is all cleaned out and come up with another design. All right, so I let her soak in degreaser last night, took her to the car wash, washed it out, so hell of a lot better. So we've got some rework to do here, clearly. This is gonna have to come out somehow, some way. And then I would like to kind of close in the sides and incorporate kind of a trap door. So as the oil sloshes this way, this door will open and this door will stay shut, and then vice versa. If the oil is getting sloshed that way, this door will open and this one will stay shut to kind of keep that oil more centered, and then at least the volume is still there on the sides. So these are kind of pockets to hold the volume of oil that the engine needs. And then yeah, I might just make a removable cover to keep it from sloshing up. But in a straight line, oil pressure is always good, so we just gotta keep it from sloshing around side to side. So get some cardboard templates and cut this baffle out. Okay, so after messing about, I don't have a tool that's gonna get in there nice enough to cut these welds. And then there's one that's actually under the pickup tube here. So what I'm gonna do is basically cut this line and make like a little bit of a dip in the pan. So that's not gonna be the lowest part on the car. You can see the tranny mount there, and then my subframe is right around that area as well. So that'll give me a little bit more volume. I'll be able to remove this single baffle. Pickup tube is there, and then my pickup tube can also be extended a bit. So I think that's a step in the right direction. So I'll start there, transfer my cardboard template over to this chunk of aluminum, and then use my box brake. I gotta kind of dig it out over there and hopefully bend this up. A little messing about later, made my cardboard template into this sucker. A little bit of persuasion, but nothing crazy. But yeah, I think that looks good. And then I went ahead and cut this hole there. So we're gonna have a little bit more volume. My pickup tube can be a little longer, which is also nice. And then I didn't realize that I'm gonna have to move that drain plug, obviously. So I'm gonna lob it off. And then I have a little chunk of pipe here that I cut on an angle. And that's just gonna go something like this. Just on that back corner. And then that would technically be the lowest point, even under the car. So I feel like if I'm gonna bottom out this pan, I'm gonna be hitting some hell of a bump. So I think it'll be fine. And then I made these little trap door systems. So I ordered these aluminum hinges, and when I cut them, there's a little pin obviously that's inside there. I left just a little bit, one of the part of the hinge on there, and then I just bent it up so that it can only open so far. So basically, flip this over. That hinge is going to get welded on here, and then this plate is going to go inside like that, roughly. So you can see the hole there. Now that volume of oil on this side is going to come through my trap door. It can only open one way. So as I'm going this way, let's say the oil wants to slosh this way, that trap door will open and that volume of oil will flow in this way and close that hinge. And then vice versa. The oil wants to rush that way, it's going to open that flap, rush in and hit that other hinge, close that hinge. So there'll always be a bit of a surplus of oil on each side. And then this is obviously tapered. So as it comes in, it's going to kind of go down that little ramp. So being that it only opens so far, I think that's a benefit as well. You can kind of see the angle's the same. So as it opens, it's going to be quite a little void there for the oil to flow in and then hit the other side and close it. At least I'm hoping. But I think I'm on the right track here, so fire up the welder and start tacking some of this stuff. Okay, got a little carried away. And I just went ahead and finished the sucker off. I'm kind of on a time crunch here. So what we got going on, if I could try to show you here. There's our little trap door. See, I've only opened so far. Same on the other side. Hard to see under there. So trap doors are installed, kind of serve as a bit of a void here. I also made this top plate to kind of keep the oil from sloshing up. And that just gets bolted on here. Like that. And then the pickup tube. A little bit of extension. And just to kind of fit the pan a little better with the new pocket on the bottom there. So, yeah. Of course, this was dirty aluminum. I tried to clean it. I'd love to say that the welds were better, but I struggled in a couple spots. I did plug the old drain plug. Moved it over to here. So yeah. Now the drain plug is the lowest part, as you can see. So that's the oil pan. Just need to kind of bolt everything all together, finalize it, and then I'm going to hop on the bearings and hopefully I don't see too much damage and we'll get this oil pan on the car. I have an event in like 3 days from now, so pushing hard. So yeah, pop them bearings out and see what's going on with that. Figured I'd test this theory. So I put a little bit of just diesel oil, whatever I had here. It is still new oil, but anyway. So there's, I don't know, probably a liter and a half in there, or 2 liters. So you can see, obviously, this void is full. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but there's oil on either side. So when I tip it over, see how it's kind of getting stuck in there? It's not wanting to flow right to this corner. It is moving, but not that fast, and vice versa. So it's actually kind of flowing over the sides here. So I'm glad I didn't completely close it off. But yeah, I mean, it's going side to side and it's holding a pocket of oil, which is exactly what I wanted. So I might even make those doors open up a little more, but yeah, seems to be working. Okay, well, it's been about a week and figured I would pick up kind of where I left off here. I swapped the bearings in and it didn't work out. I got it to run, but it was just, it was tight, man. Like, even just turning it over by hand. I got it to run, but it didn't even want to idle. So before I destroy yet another engine, I figured I'd just pull it out, and then I found another motor on Marketplace for about 850 bucks. So that's out of a 2012 Titan, and it's all just stock this time, like stock cams. All the internals, everything's untouched. It's just all the swap parts. So the aluminum valve covers, headers, revised pan, intake, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, overall it's pretty much stock. So if this oil pan works and it jams, then I'll take the Kelford cams and springs, shims out of that thing and put them in a set of ported heads, which I have set aside, which I already did all the porting on the first engine. Anyway, long story short, that oil pump was a mofo, to say the least, and I hope that that's the end of this, because yeah, way more time than I ever wanted to spend on this swap, but it does run, and the tune needs to be revised, obviously, because the big cams didn't even want to run at idle, so it's like running super rich, but it does run, and I think she's gonna jam. So that's pretty much the end of this video. Check your oil pan if you're having oil issues, because yeah, I didn't, and here we are. Three's a charm, right?